Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders radio network, heard across the USA. And we are talking about spiritual wellness as part of our special series called The Vitality Revolution. And I am here with Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis from the Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle, Washington. And Reverend Kathy Ann is my teacher, my spiritual teacher. I have been going to the Center for Spiritual Living for quite a long time, following the teachings. And Reverend Kathy Ann has been an amazing teacher for me in spiritual wellness. And I wanted to kind of stretch the boundary a little bit and talk to our listeners a little bit about what I call the science of spirituality, who we are, what we do. And you, Kathy Ann, you summarized a little bit about, the overall advantage. Let's talk a little bit more, dive in. What's the next step on recognizing our spirituality?
I think it's to recognize what's really good about us, to recognize it. I think that, I'm just looking at how I was when I was younger, and I'm looking at what seems to be disturbing teens and young adults, because the studies are that depression and anxiety is skyrocketing in young people.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't anxious, but I certainly wanted to fit in and what do people think of me, and how do I look okay? A lot of stuff. And then I think when we get older, we shift, and I think when we pursue a spiritual path or wanting to connect with something greater, what we really want to do is find out what's true about us and let that shine. What's true about us. So we're not shining forth our anxiety or our hesitancy or our unwillingness to speak up or whatever. We're really shining forth what's true about us. We're being really clear with our values and our internal gifts, because we all have internal gifts. We're all born with different gifts. And I'll just tell you a brief story, and this is what shifted me forever. I went to my grandmother's funeral, and let's see, I was in my 40s, I guess, maybe 50s, 40s. And all of my cousins and everybody that knew my grandmother said, oh, she was so sweet. She's so sweet. Everybody said she was so sweet. I would have said she was so sweet. But you know what? No one would ever say that about me. No, sweet was not a word that I was ever described as. But I decided that if my grandmother was going to die and leave us on this physical plane, the best thing I could do was to keep her legacy. So I said, you know what? I want to take on Granny's sweetness.
I love that.
And so sometimes I will actually be surprised when someone will say, well, that's so sweet. And I'm going, really? I'm sweet? But it's like, so I don't want that characteristic to go to the grave with her. So I think now what I'm trying to decide is, what do I want to shine forth into the world that other people can take forward? Like, what do I want my grandchildren to remember about me? And what they could, and that they would so appreciate it that they would want to have it be part of their character. My stepmother, my sister and I were just talking about this. My stepmother was cranky. Even her own daughter said she was cranky, but she knew her own power. And so I think that my sister has taken on that power. And she's passing it on to her daughter and her granddaughter. So who we are isn't just about us.
No.
Who we are is a legacy. So it's not the money you leave to an organization or your children, but who do you leave your children? What characteristics do you leave your children with? What do they remember? What can they take on? What do you value, and are you willing to share your values?
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal because people will be influenced by who we are and how we show up in the world. So I'm showing up a little sweeter because of my grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when you think about it, like, who are you? I think that happens to a lot of us. I know friends that I've grown up with that have had these aha moments, and they've had life-changing experiences, just like I did. I think one of the things that we all look at is we're searching in our lives for meaning. I think, what you're saying is that as we get older, we're starting to see our life in the rearview mirror, and we see things that we're maybe not proud of. We see things that we could have done better. We have regrets. We have all kinds of things, but we have opportunities from those. And I think that's something that I think when we reach older age, like, we are, am I defining it correctly or realizing it? Yeah.
Because we get to be our true self. We're not trying to prove. We're less inclined to have to prove things. We're less inclined to have to get other people's approval. We're less inclined to want to impress anybody. So we get to really decide what's my strength. My strength, I would say, that I want to share with my grandchildren, is that I'm willing to try new things and experiment. And that's important, that they see an old person like me, experimenting. So they have permission to try on new things, to try new ways of being, and to make new kinds of friends.
It's very interesting you say this, and I don't know how this popped up, but I remember going through spiritual practice, which is a class through Center for Spiritual Living. And we were to create a project that demonstrated what spirituality meant to us. And I came up with the colors of the rainbow, and each one stood for a different value of mine. And it was something that I put on the wall, and I still have it. It's amazing. We just moved and I found it again. But one of the things that I put down, and this is like in my 50s, or probably late 40s, authenticity. And I don't think I gave it much real thought, that term of authenticity, until I got into my 60s. I think one of the things that happened, right when I turned 60, I decided I'm not going to dye my hair anymore, right? Because I just wanted to be real. There was something about that benchmark for me in my life. And I think that's something that, we all kind of reach that crux in our life to say, wow, this is an authentic me.
Yeah. And I think when we are, like when you come from authenticity, it gives other people permission to be authentic. And what we are always, our life is our message. It wasn't just Gandhi. I mean, he said it, but we get to live it. Our life is our message.
Yes.
How we show up will inform other people.
And what did you do to, what was your legacy? What will people say about you? And I think that's something that, it inspires deep thought, I think, no matter where you are on your spiritual path. And Reverend Kathy and I, we will be right back, everyone, right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.